Hello, and welcome to the Olympia Symphony Looking Forward Gala and Auction. I'm Jennifer Hermann, and I'm the Executive Director of your Olympia Symphony Orchestra. If you haven't already done so, go to the link below and click Get Started. You will need to register in order to bid on our incredible auction items and also to donate. If you run into trouble, call the number on the screen and we will help you out. If the line is busy, please keep trying or email your phone number to oso@olympiasymphony.org and we will give you a call back as soon as we can. The silent auction will close at 6:30 tonight, so hurry up and get your bids in. The first 4 items on the bidding page have just opened up when this program started. These are for exclusive seats around the table with each of our 4 music director candidates when they come to town in 2022. You will spend time with the candidate while having a gourmet feast with wine at Olympia's Basilico restaurant. There are only 8 tickets available per conductor candidate, so you need to snag yours quickly. I'll be showing you the other items throughout the night, but now I will start with our OSO exclusive items. We have limited edition OSO label red and white wines. We have an ultimate fan bag, which includes a bottle of each of the wines and a selection of t-shirts, including our 2020 longest intermission ever t-shirt and tonight's looking forward t-shirt, which you'll see a lot of, which has on the back all of our concert dates. Very handy. The fan bag also has everything you would ever need to show the entire world that you are the Olympia Symphony's biggest fan. We also have an array of food and drinks, including baskets from Sandstone Distillery, Batdorf and Bronson Coffee Roasters, Mosquito Fleet Winery, Sophie's Scoops, and custom engraved scotch and whiskey. We also have a private wine tasting, personalized chef dinner, bird watching with our board president Bill Twite, a weekend getaway in Klickitat, a 10-pound bag of manila clams, which you're going to have to fight me for, and an autographed bottle of limited edition wine by local artist Deborah Van Tynen. We have many other fun items, which I will be mentioning to you throughout the night. Tonight, we are looking forward, but before we do, we'll take a little look back. I think we will all agree that 2020 and most of 2021 are a little difficult to look back on. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the loss many of you have experienced. You have lost loved ones and have had health challenges made even more difficult by the pandemic. Kids have missed graduation, time with friends, sports, and birthday parties. We have all missed gatherings, family celebrations, and concerts. But through it all, we have kept our eyes on the goal, and that is to come back together into a world of beauty, health, friendships, and music. Thank you for your support over the past 18 months. Inspired by you and because of you, we have had a robust pandemic pause. As soon as concerts were shut down, we started with simple social media posts showing our musicians practicing, teaching, and composing at home. This quickly grew into 9 Facebook concerts, 17 Tuesday listening playlists, 5 live streams to homeless shelters, service groups, and retirement communities, a 12-week virtual composition workshop, and 19 video masterclasses for students, Zoom gatherings for patrons and donors, one of them a holiday sing-along, 5 virtual concert programs, 17 small ensemble deliveries around town, and 200 personalized video telegrams, many of them to you. We recorded at Benaroya Hall and at the Washington Center for the Performing Arts. We collaborated with student orchestras of Greater Olympia, Ballet Northwest, South Puget Sound Community College, and Emerald City Music. We created a virtual pomp and circumstance video, which has been seen by 34,000 people and used for commencement ceremonies around the world. We created symphony strolls with QR codes around Olympia, providing soundtracks to accompany our stunning scenery. We performed at Lovely Summerfest and had those in attendance, including my mom, conduct the symphony. We presented 2 live outdoor full symphony summer concerts and performed for the first time in neighboring DuPont and Tenino. We were awarded a Community Leadership Award from Leadership Thurston County and awarded an Economic Courage Award from the Thurston Economic Development Council. It's been a busy year. It's been a tough year. But it's been a joy to use this time to grow closer as a community and stronger as an organization. So now we look forward. Tonight you will hear from each of our conductors who will be presenting on the Washington Center stage this season, and you will meet all of our soloists. Remember to bid on the auction while you watch. Every dollar spent tonight turns into music. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jill Barnes, the Executive Director for the Washington Center for the Performing Arts, and thank you for joining us for the Olympia Symphony Orchestra Virtual Gala. We are so thrilled that you're here with us tonight, but we're even more excited to welcome you back into the Washington Center for a real live in-person show. This is going to be a spectacular season for the symphony. It's very unique with the conductor search. Each of the conductors has so many unique gifts to offer the community and to the orchestra. I can't wait to sit in these seats, have the lights go out, and just get lost in the music and the feeling and sharing all of that with you. So thank you for your support of the symphony and of the arts in our community. You're wonderful. Can't wait to see you. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. First, I would like to say thank you for inviting me to guest conduct the Olympia Symphony in the fall concerts. I am Rupen Shikari, and I'm really looking forward to working with the orchestra. These two concerts really are overtures to the second half of the season. In the October concert, we'll begin with Busoni's Luchtville Overture, which is translated as a comedy overture. It is followed by Elgar's String Serenade, a luscious string piece, as Elgar describes it as a bit stringy. Brahms' Academic Festival Overture actually celebrates the return of schools. The American composer Don Gillis wrote a charming little overture to an unwritten opera. We really don't know what the opera was like because he didn't write it, but we get an idea of what it might have been when we hear the overture. And lastly, Saint-Saëns' wonderful Suite Algérienne, which serve as postcards from Algiers, a place where Saint-Saëns really enjoyed going frequently. In the second half of the fall concert in November, we'll begin with a piece by yours truly. In fact, I'm very thankful for Jennifer Hermann for including my piece in this concert. Actually, it fits really nicely with the second piece, but my piece is called Whimsy, a nice little energetic piece that really is an homage to Richard Strauss. I've been a little bit impish with that in terms of what else to include. So you might hear a little bit of Wagner, Beethoven, or even Schoenberg, and even Carl Stalling of Warner Brothers cartoons. Well, then we get to hear the real composer, the Strauss Serenade for Winds. Strauss is a composer I greatly admire, and in this piece you will really hear why, for his lyrical writing and his wonderful sense of color and pacing the winds through this wonderful serenade. Elgar's Bavarian dances conclude the first half, and these are, in some ways, another postcard from Bavaria when Elgar visited. And lastly, the concert ends with Grieg's symphonic dances. These dances are inspired by the folkloric songs that Grieg began to enjoy and learn, and they are expressed in a beautiful full orchestral colors. So I ask you to join us for our concerts, and I hope you will enjoy the offerings that we gave you.
Thank you, Rupen. Next, I want to highlight some amazing auction items we have that have local ties, and many directly to the OSO. In addition to Deborah Van Tynen's wine, we also have one of her incredible paintings. We have earrings and a necklace from locally loved Panowitz Jewelry, an original watercolor by Anne Ryherd, pottery made by board member and search committee chair Chris Barnes, a charcuterie board made by Frank Johnston, spouse of violinist Barbara Johnston, Hand-knit apparel by Nadine Bozeman, sister of violinist Julie Funchen-Sandvig. Bernie Sanders and Ruth Bader Ginsburg, crocheted by yours truly. Custom centerpieces by Gala chair Nancy Bean. Artwork and coasters by administrative assistant Renee Zimmerman's sister-in-law, and unique and beautiful marbles handmade by her brother-in-law. A scarf and painting created by close friends of cellist Holly Reeves. Canvas prints featuring local scenes by Diane Waste, and a cookbook of her recipes and photographs using ingredients from Spud's Market. We have glass art by local artist Rose Thiss, handcrafted soaps that smell delicious, and many hand-turned wood bowls created by Principal Oboe Laura Gobin Harper's grandfather. Bid high and bid generously. These are unique items you can't get anywhere else, with direct ties to the musicians of the Olympia Symphony. Next, we will hear from our music director finalists and the soloists who will be featured on stage with them.
Hello everybody, my name is Alexandra Rece and I have the honor to be one of the final candidates for Olympia's conductor search. My concert is going to be February the 13th, which is one day before Valentine's Day, easy to remember. And well, our concert is going to be related to the date. So whenever we think about Valentine's Day concerts, we always think about over-the-top romantic music, right? Well, we are going to have that in this concert too. We are going to experience that. But it's not only about this, it's going to be also about love in general. In the beginning of 2020, the music world was ready to celebrate Beethoven's 250th anniversary. The pandemic happened and the celebrations were either canceled or postponed. And that's the reason we are bringing in honor of Ludwig van Beethoven, Coriolan Overture. But now you might be asking, but Alex, what this has to deal with Valentine's Day? Remember, it's about love. And if you listen carefully to Beethoven's Coriolan Overture, you hear the fight, you hear the war, you hear the aggression, but you also hear in the back this beautiful melody that will start with the woodwinds and then out of a sudden is spread towards the entire orchestra. And in the end, this will win and end with the fight. And this is love. And this is the cry of his mother and then his wife and then all the women in the village asking him to stop. So in the end of this story, in the end of Coriolan's fate, love wins. And that's the message. Love wins everything. That's how we start our concert. Our second piece is a recent composition by Marian Mozetic, featuring the wonderful violin player Sven Ronin. It's called Affair from the Hearts. And with that, we are talking about love in a very romantic way. The piece is an ear candy. It's very, very romantic, but even though it's contemporary, you're going to hear lots of romantic influences, but also minimalist.
Hello, everyone. I'm violinist Sven Roning, and I'm so pleased to be returning to Olympia to perform with the Olympia Symphony once again, this time on Sunday, February 13th, 2022, in a program to get you in the mood for Valentine's Day. I'm really looking forward to collaborating with the dynamically talented Alexandra Ariece in her program featuring works by Beethoven and Tchaikovsky, with my contribution to this concert being the Concerto for Violin and Strings by the Canadian composer Marjan Mozetic. This concerto is best known by its title, Affairs of the Heart. I don't know if you know Mozetic's music, and if you don't, I hope that you will get to know it through this passionate work and through his many other works that are getting airplay these days, with titles like Postcards from the Sky, El Dorado, and The Passion of the Angels. You can also check out a 2019 documentary film about this composer, also entitled Affairs of the Heart. Mozetič describes his musical style as postmodern romanticism. What I hear in this concerto is a conversation between Vivaldi, maybe, Tchaikovsky, maybe, and Philip Glass, maybe, about music and love, or at least something like that. You'll have to decide for yourself. I think you will hear Mozetič's unique blend of romanticism, minimalism, and what the composer himself calls distance and landscape in the texture. This concerto is going to pair especially well with the Symphony No. 5 by Tchaikovsky that's also on the program. I can't say how excited I am to see all of you on Valentine's Eve and to perform this piece that I've admired from afar for so long. This is finally my opportunity and yours to walk across the crowded room and to get to know this wonderful new piece of the violin repertoire. See you soon.
And we end our concert with the one and only Tchaikovsky, Symphony No. 5. If we take a look in Tchaikovsky's last three numbered symphonies, 4, 5, and 6, the three of them talk about love, relationships, and fate. Symphony No. 5 is the only one that also carries hope. He starts very dark, very, very sad, and then he progresses to this grand, big finale where love apparently wins. So if I have to find a thread that connects all the pieces that we are presenting in this program, is love, and the theme is love always wins. I will see you in February the 13th, 2022, pre-Valentine's Day. Bring your date. Bye.
Thank you, Alexandra and Sven. So, how are you doing on your auction items? Are you winning? Next, we have some more artwork and, appropriately, music things. Behind me are 4 delightful print and original pieces of art. And we also have opportunities to learn, play, and enjoy music. You can bid on a custom piano recording and/or piano lessons from board member Laurel Gonzalo. You can have your choice of 3 sizes of crystal flutes created by Hall Crystal Flutes in Tenino, or a month of guitar lessons, or 2 tickets to International Guitar Night at the Washington Center for the Performing Arts. Remember, every purchase that you make tonight, every donation, goes straight to the stage as we bring live music back for you.
Hi, I'm Kelly Kuo, and I'm so pleased to be a finalist in the Olympia Symphony Orchestra's Music Director Search. I'm actually a native of the Pacific Northwest, having been born a 4-hour drive west of Olympia in Richland, and raised just an hour south of there in the city of Hermiston, Oregon, which is probably best known for being the watermelon capital of the region. I'm the eldest son, born to an immigrant Taiwanese family, and I'm primarily a pianist by training, though I did also play clarinet and violin, thanks to the wonderful music programs in the public schools, as well as the private teachers in the community. My introduction to conducting came about through the Houston Grand Opera Studio, where my training as a pianist and vocal coach included some basic conducting lessons, just so that we wouldn't embarrass ourselves or the company when we were assigned backstage conducting duties. The opera world eventually provided me my conducting debut, and after I caught the conducting bug, I didn't look back. Though I make my home in Cincinnati, Ohio, I am still extremely passionate about the music being made and taught in the Pacific Northwest. And of course, I always enjoy the natural beauty of the Cascade Mountains whenever I get an opportunity to visit. And speaking of visiting, in March, we'll be performing a rather unconventional program made up of 3 contrasting works by composers whose names are likely already familiar to you. We will open the concert with a heroic explosion of sound. Beethoven really packed a punch in the 5 minutes of music which make up the overture to his ballet, The Creatures of Prometheus. Written between his first and second symphonies as he was struggling with his increasing deafness, one can hear Beethoven's rebellious spirit in the highly dramatic music filled with bold changes of key and dynamics, as well as plenty of energetic fast notes for the musicians to play. Following this exhilarating opener, we'll collaborate with violist Amber Archibald-Seshik on Schubert's beautiful chamber work, the Arpeggiones Sonata, in arrangement for string orchestra by Dobrinka Tabakova. Here's Amber to tell you a little bit about the piece we'll be performing together.
Hi everyone, my name is Amber Archibald-Seshik and I'm a violist, and I am very delighted to be performing with the Olympia Symphony this season on March 20th. I am originally from Houston, Texas, but was living in Seattle for the past almost 14 years. And as of this summer, I am again a Houstonian. So we just recently moved back to my hometown, but I'm excited to be traveling back and forth to Seattle over the next couple of years with other upcoming performances as well. So I will be performing the Arpeggiones Sonata. Now, a sonata is typically performed with a featured instrument and a pianist, but this arrangement has the violist in front of a string orchestra, and it's a really lovely arrangement, and I'm really excited to be able to share it with all of you this coming season. It's a rarely performed work, but it's going to be really delightful, and I'm excited to share it with all of you. I am looking forward to seeing you all there. Get your tickets early. Ta-ta.
Thank you, Amber. I performed the piano part to the sonata while in school, so I'm really looking forward to working with Amber in a piece that's rarely performed with large forces, because it will really challenge us to play most intimately and with great flexibility. This brings us to the back half of the program, in which you'll get to experience one of the greatest first symphonies ever created, that by the Finnish composer Jan Sibelius. Written as the 19th century was transitioning to the 20th, it was a turbulent time for Finland, as it was struggling to survive against its shrinking independence from the Russian Empire. Sibelius fought back by writing music that would serve as a rallying cry for his fellow Finns. The beginning of the work is one of the most original in the history of the symphony, opening amid a desolate, gloomy landscape, out of which a quiet clarinet solo releases the musical seed, which will generate the entire composition. Filled with soaring and passionate romantic themes, the defiant roar of dark brass that would become a Sibelius trademark, as well as a surprise ending, this first symphony gave the classical four-movement structure a completely new sound and intensity, which provided the composer his international breakthrough, declaring to the world that yes, Finland had a culture worth fighting for. I can't wait for you to hear this program in March, and I'm really looking forward to meeting all of you and making music with the wonderful musicians of the Olympia Symphony Orchestra. Until then, stay safe.
Thank you, Kelly and Amber. We are approaching the time when the silent auction will be closing, so now is a good time to make sure you've thought about everyone you would like to give gifts to. And honestly, you deserve something special too, so go ahead and treat yourself. This last batch of items falls into the recreation and services category. We have a lovely ocean-themed basket from the Hands-On Children's Museum with family passes, autographed mariners photos, 2 certificates from Sign Gypsies so you can surprise your favorite friend or 2 with a giant yard sign for a special occasion. Go kayaking at Boston Harbor Marina, visit the Museum of Flight, Tacoma Art Museum, Museum of Pop Culture, or Ilani Casino and Resort. We also have certificates for bridal alterations, a photography session with local favorite John O'Leary, and sessions for financial planning and personal or organizational coaching. Watch the clock. The auction is closing soon.
My name is Zoe Zanioli, and I am one of the 4 music director finalists for Olympia Symphony Orchestra. I'm currently in Greece, and as you'll see, I'm not wearing the beautiful black Looking Forward t-shirt for Olympia Symphony Orchestra. I think this is because Greece is very far away from Olympia and my t-shirt has been delayed. But I can tell you that I'm very, very much looking forward to being there soon. I haven't ever traveled to the Northwest Pacific coast, And I'm sure it's a place full of magic, and I'll then have a lot of stories to tell. So, talking about storytelling, this is how my program started. When I was thinking about what I could do with Olympia Symphony Orchestra. So this is a program that has to do with storytelling and the feminine element in it. What is life? What are we here for? What does it mean to be alive? We are all here because we create. We create a story. We create life. We can tell the story, and we share the story with others. Being alive, existing, is part of that. And that's how we know we are alive. So, in this particular program, and the feminine force in it, I decided to start it with a very famous overture by Beethoven. It is the overture to his opera, Fidelio. Beethoven wrote only one opera, Fidelio, and it is an opera on politics and on liberty, and Beethoven was very associated with these things. So in this wonderful work, we have a political prisoner, Florestan. He is in the prison. He might die soon. Everyone actually thinks he is dead. Everyone but his wife. His wife, Leonore, is determined to save him. She knows, she believes he's alive, and she wants to save him. She's brave because she's in love. So she disguises as a prison guard named Fidelio and enters the prison. And yes, she does save him. In this way, because of her love and because of her storytelling, because what else could be if you're dressed like a man? That's a huge story to tell. Because of these things, she goes into the prison and she saves her lover, she saves herself, she saves love. The second piece in the program is by a woman. This is how the feminine element joins here. It's a wonderful work that I discovered recently by Dobrinka Tabakova. This is a concerto for cello and strings, and in my view, it's absolutely magical. It's totally transcendental, but I will not talk about it. I will now let you listen to things about this wonderful work by the glorious and fantastic cellist Nathan Chan.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Maestra Zanotti. My name is Nathan Chan, and I'm so excited to be presenting Dobrinka Tabakova's Concerto for Cello and Strings on April 24th with your Olympia Symphony. The wonderful concerto is comprised of 3 stunning movements, one in which it is very cinematic and vast, and the second where time seems to stand still, and the third and most exciting, radiant one has an extremely amazing feeling of momentum that drives it to the very end. I'm so excited to be presenting this concerto, and I hope to see all of you there very, very soon.
The last piece of the program is the very famous Scheherazade. It is by Rimsky-Korsakov, and it is truly a magnificent piece. It is one of my favorite pieces ever. It's a wonderful story. Scheherazade was a beautiful, intelligent, well-bred, well-read woman who had studied arts and music and literature and poetry, and she was a very gifted storyteller. So here the story goes that there is this king who, because of his first wife's infidelity, decides every single night to marry a new virgin and have her executed the day after, so that she has no time to cheat on him. Scheherazade takes the risk. She's sure, she believes she can save herself and all the other women. So she accepts to marry him. And during the first night, her trick is that she says to him that she would like to say one last story to her sister. So he agrees and she starts telling the story. And it's a beautiful story. And dawn comes and the story hasn't finished. So he decides to let her live because he wants to listen to the continuation of the story the night after. The second night, she continues the story, and when the story finishes, she starts a second story. And again, it stays in the middle. And he keeps her alive for a second night. And then 1001 nights pass. And she has said 1000 stories. And this is the last night. And she announces to him that now the stories are over and he can heal her. He doesn't. He's in love with her by now, and he makes her his queen. It's a magnificent, magnificent piece on storytelling. What Rimsky-Korsakov has done is amazing because it's a beautifully orchestrated work, and you will be able to listen to all the themes of Scheherazade, of the king, of everyone in this story, and they're so beautifully tied together. They're all very well connected. And it is a wonderful theme on storytelling and on the fact that she, through her storytelling, again saves her life, saves other women. She saves his life because we all know that without love, we're not really alive. So she takes the chance and she can go for it. And this is an amazing finish to this program. It is a masterpiece, Scheherazade, and it is one of my favorite things to conduct. So I'm very, very much looking forward to being there soon with you and to Olympia Symphony Orchestra. And we hope to see you there to share our story.
Thank you, Zoe and Nathan. And thank you to everyone for bidding on our silent auction and raising much needed funds for the Olympia Symphony Orchestra. I'd also like to thank all the donors, both individuals and businesses, who contributed to the auction. We appreciate you and are so grateful for your support. Even though the silent auction is closed, you can still purchase OSO wine. And have you bought your ticket for the music director finalist dinners yet? Remember, there are only 8 available for each candidate. And after meeting all of them, it's hard to choose, isn't it? Go ahead, just buy them all. You'll be happy you did.
Hello everyone, my name is Adam Johnson. I'm a conductor currently based in Montreal, Canada. I grew up in the Rocky Mountains, but I spent every summer of my youth exploring the West Coast. And as such, it's an area that is very dear to my heart, and I can't wait to combine 2 of my passions, that for nature and for music, in May, when I'm thrilled to be joining you and the Olympia Symphony Orchestra for the closing program of this first post-pandemic season. I'm absolutely thrilled to be a part of the music director's search, and am very much looking forward to this dynamic and exciting music. The program will open with an overture by Ludwig van Beethoven. This is the Egmont Overture and is one of my absolute favorite pieces by Beethoven. If you're a fan of his Fifth Symphony, you will love this piece as well. It was written originally to accompany a revival of the play called Count Egmont by Goethe, the most important German poet and author of modern times. Now, the real Count Egmont lived in the 16th century and was famously executed for standing up for what he believed in. He even had the chance to escape, but he did not take it. He faced his fate, and he showed such dignity during his execution that it inspired people to stand up against tyranny and those who abused power. And so this was a theme that was very near and dear to Beethoven's heart. And as such, this music, it really does flow from the heart. It's full of darkness and turmoil and the struggle that Egmont would have experienced, but it also conveys the ultimate victory and the inspiration for humankind that came from the stand that he made. Now, following The Beethoven, which is a piece you absolutely do not want to miss, is another piece you will not want to miss. And this is very different in character, a set of 4 tangos by the Argentinian composer Astor Piazzolla. Now, I will be joined on stage by the brilliant violinist Kristin Lee, and I will let her tell you a little bit more about this incredible music that she will be performing for you.
Hi everyone, my name is Kristin Lee. I am so excited to be performing with the Olympia Symphony this coming season. I think some of you might know me. I am a co-founder and the artistic director of Emerald City Music, where we give our performances in Olympia as well. So, and we've actually been working together with Olympia Symphony, especially through this past year, and have a wonderful relationship with the orchestra. So this opportunity to be able to perform with the symphony as a violinist is really quite an honor and a huge excitement. I'm going to be performing a work by Astor Piazzolla, an Argentinian composer who really introduced the music of tango into the classical realm. And this is the Four Seasons, which was inspired by Antonio Vivaldi's Four Seasons. So you'll be hearing some little bits and pieces of Vivaldi's actual quotes with the twist of the tango style that Piazzolla implements as well. It's one of my favorite works, and it really features the solo violin, but also the orchestra as well. So I hope that you'll enjoy it and that you'll be there. And I really look forward to seeing all of you next season.
Following the sonic and rhythmic flair of Piazzolla's brilliant Four Seasons, we will be returning to Europe, this time to Paris. We are going to be closing the program and the season with a performance of César Franck's marvelous Symphony in D minor. Franck was a composer born in what is today Belgium. He was born in 1822, and he was a composer of the Romantic era. He lived most of his life in Paris, and he was a celebrated organist and a very influential teacher. Now, because of his career as an organist, it very much influenced the way that he composed. And as such, the symphony that you will hear, it has very lush and rich sonorities. It's got absolutely gorgeous melodies, and at times the orchestra will be playing with tremendous power. It's really a feast for the ears. Now, Franck was, like Beethoven, a humanist, and he believed in inclusion, and he was a great admirer of Beethoven, and so it's very appropriate that this symphony of his will be concluding the program, which is opened with the very human and great genius of Beethoven. I look forward to collaborating with the wonderful musicians of the Olympia Symphony Orchestra in presenting this powerful and beautiful program for you in May. In the meantime, wishing you all the best and a joyous return to live music. Take care.
Good evening. I'm Bill Twite, President of the OSO Board. As my shirt says, I'm looking forward to our upcoming season. I'm looking forward to returning to our home, the Washington Center stage. I'm looking forward to meeting and auditioning our 4 finalists for the music director position. I'm not so sure that I'm looking forward to what I predict will be a very tough choice among 4 exceptional talents, but I am reassured that any one of them will do a great job of building on the strengths that Hugh Edwards cultivated so very well. I'm also looking forward to Raise the Paddle, which has become a tradition at our gala. I do wish it could be in person, but if this were a normal year, then you might not need or want the OSO mask that all donors of $100 or more will receive. Before we start, though, on behalf of the OSU musicians, staff, and board, let me express our thanks for your generous and ongoing support through plague and pestilence. We are returning to the stage, and we couldn't have done it without you. So let's raise those paddles and show our OSO masks with pride every time we mask up. Stay safe.
Thank you, Bill. And thank you for the donations that are coming in right now. As Bill said, every Raise the Paddle donor of $100 or more will receive an Olympia Symphony face mask. Your donation right now will bring our musicians to the stage and give us the resources necessary to continue the legacy of the Olympia Symphony. This season is our 74th anniversary. For 74 years, this community has supported their symphony. You are a vital part of that legacy as we emerge from the pandemic stronger than ever before. As you give, remember to purchase tickets now for our October and November concerts, and get ready to purchase your subscription for our Music Director Finalist Series, which will go on sale next month. After this program, please join me and members of our board for a Zoom question and answer session. We are happy to answer your questions about the future of the Olympia Symphony. The Zoom link is in the YouTube chat and also on our website. Thank you for attending tonight. We cannot wait to see you back at the center. I'll see you in the Zoom room in just a few minutes after this very special performance by our finalists. Thank you.